So now I'm reading and then try to go slowly to the text. So the first line is, I bow down to the Venerable Lamas and his teacher, Tsongkhapa's teacher. And I don't know who are these teachers, like maybe Rendava, Satya tradition, and Lama Umawa, where he received all the teaching related with the emptiness, also from Satya tradition. And there are many teachers, so he is paying respect to his teachers, okay? And these types of culture are quite difficult in the West because of Western culture, and then it's quite difficult. But then in Buddhism, to have faith in one's own spiritual teacher is, I think, the foundation. Like when I'm reciting this prayer before I keep teaching, good means all the good qualities, okay? Shirikyu means foundation. The teachers are the foundation of all the good qualities. Tinjen is very compassionate or kind, okay? Like to be kept in the heart as the most important figure, okay? Therefore, Tsushin Tenpa is I have to maintain the spiritual connection with the spiritual teacher in a very, very pure, profound way, without any sort of defilement. Okay? This is the foundation of all the paths. Lam is Tsawa. Tsawa is the foundation. Lam is path. So, therefore, in Tibetan Buddhism, the spiritual teachers are very, very important, you see. So, sometimes, okay, it happens that the teacher is not so profound, and then we started ignoring. Something, to me also it happened, you see. One of my, almost like the earliest teacher, who was a layman, of course he was monk, and then he disrobed, and then he became layman. And then I think he was in a place called Sunna, so he just remained there. And sometimes he did also little business also, and to look after his family and everything. And when we lost our country, he came to India in 1959, and he was like road constructor. And I don't know, maybe it's because of karma. And he became the neighbor of my parents. We all stayed in a cow shed, okay, small house. So it became our neighbor. Because being neighbor, and then we meet often. We meet often, and then I talk, where are you coming from, where, and he talks a lot. And he talks about Drepung Monastery. He talked a lot about Drepung Monastery and great teachers like Tema Tongpa and he talked a lot of the spiritual teachers with high respect. And then through this I started learning, see. And he talked about Panchaparamita. At that time I didn't know anything about Panchaparamita. He talked to Madhyamika, he talked to Avittamakosh, he talked about Vinaya, and he talked to Paramanavatthikarika. He talked quite a lot, you see. And he's always reading the Tsongkhapa's text. He works about for 3 days, and then all money he just don't work, and he's reading. Whole day he's reading. He was reading this, and because of this influence, even he didn't give direct teaching to me. And I was started so interested in Buddhist philosophy. I was so interested, you see. And one day I was so interested. He gave me Alankara text, which we studied about 7 years. The root text, maybe about, I don't know, 54 in my page, but I don't know, there may be more pages, which we memorized. Then by getting this, when I was in school, I think 16 years old maybe, and I was so impressed. And because of this, my interest in studying Buddhist philosophy remained and supported, and because of this, I took the decision after finishing class. I took the decision to study Buddhist philosophy instead of going to university. I also rejected my Thangpa teacher's offer to be his successor, and he was very rich, and he asked me to heritage all his property for me, and at that time it was like a king. He was like a king. But I was not so attached, so I was really wanted to study Paramita because of him, So then I slowly I realized, okay, he was really the most important teacher. When we were in really fragile, young, and very going through a very, very bad situation in the schools and like this. So when I close my eye, I can see his face. Now I can see his face. Even sometimes I hear his voice. You see. He's making very big noise, but reading Tsongkhapa text like this. So therefore, here the Tsongkhapa also, he was very, very learned. Tsongkhapa was very learned. When he was writing this, he was already finished all his studies. Thousands and thousands of students, okay? But still he says, I bow down to the Venerable Lamas. Chidun Lama Nama chapter, in Tibet we say Chidun Lama Nama chapter. The Chidun Lama, there's all explained in different commentaries, but I think for us, this is just enough. Yeah? And this is not like a, what do you say? This is not like a polite or not like a, what, politics or just to make it everybody write like this. So I also wrote like, it's not nothing to do with this. It's just purely out of devotion, out of faith, out of devotion. Of course, there are deeper meaning and also superficial meaning. Superficial meaning is that if you love the teacher, you love the subject that teacher teaches us, you see. Yeah. If you don't love the teacher, and then you started, don't pay so much attention to his subject, you see. So therefore, if you really love Buddhism, and the spiritual teachers are very important. The spiritual teacher also has to be very good, you see. Not necessarily every teacher has to be respected, not in this way. 10 qualities, okay? 10 qualities, I think that 10 quality teaching I gave only in Finland, I think I don't remember anywhere else I gave teaching. 10 qualities, okay? How to label that person as a good teacher. All the qualities are defined, okay? And then in the teaching they say that if all the 10 qualities are there, of course it will be a very, very good teacher. But if not, okay, if this is not possible to find anywhere, the last two are very, very important, he says. Last two, okay. Teacher who was very compassionate and never get tired of teaching the disciples, see, at any time, never get tired. Tsevet Tagni is an embodiment of like love or compassion. Okay, Tsevet Tagni. Kyowapang means if the students are really slow learner or students are very rough and tough or students full of destructive emotion, the teacher will never get tired. You see. So that two qualities are the most important thing. So if the teacher has this, then I think putting faith in the teacher and maintaining the faith, maintaining the relationship is very important, you see. It should not be like underwear. Changing the teacher, take a shower, change the underwear, or another one. Like this is, I think, it will disturb a lot for the practice. Yeah. So therefore, of course, later, Tsongkhapa's main spiritual teacher was Manjushri. I think you all know this. I think he was directly talking with the Manjushri, and then like this, yeah. So in the Lama also, I think Manjushri also is included there, yeah. I know Rindapa and Lama Umapa and most of these are Sajja tradition. Teachers are mostly, Tsongkhapa's teachers were Sajja tradition. At that time, Gelug was not existing. Gelug was established by Tsongkhapa himself. So therefore, most of his teachers, at that time, Sajja tradition was very strong, very strong. Most of the learned teachers from Sajja tradition. Yeah, Chidu Rendapa. Do you recite Mimet Savatiji Janasi? No? Okay. Then okay. And then I go to the second line, as well as I'm able, I will explain. Tsongkhapa, okay. Such a learned person saying that I have limitation. Okay? As good as possible, I will explain. If I have the capability. You see? So, if today a teacher who's like Tsongkhapa, I will say, oh, I think so, yeah. No. As well as I'm able, okay, I will explain what Buddha's teaching. Okay, Buddha's teaching. I will explain Buddha's teaching. The essence, okay, essence of all the teaching of the conqueror. Essence, okay. In this short version, he cannot explain everything in detail. Not possible, you see. Essence, the theme of the Buddha's teaching he's going to explain. And that essence or the theme of Buddha's teaching is what? Three principal aspects of path, okay? Renunciation, bodhicitta, and wisdom. Yeah. Why? Because yeah, I think I will say a little bit, okay. Why he has chosen renunciation, not compassion, not loving kindness. Okay? He didn't choose. He chose renunciation, and then bodhicitta, and then wisdom. Why these three are principal aspects of path? Okay, why? Why? His promise, okay, in the beginning was that he really wanted to explain the essence of all aspects of Buddha's teaching. That means he has to include the teachings meant for the lower capacity and middle capacity. If we directly go to compassion, and then he lose all the teachings meant for the lower capacity teaching and middle capacity teaching. You got? And bodhicitta is the border or what demarcation, okay, which makes a person Mahayana tradition is bodhicitta. Okay, so he wanted to include all aspects of Buddha's teaching, which are related with the lesser capacity and middle capacity, and also the teachings of Mahayana great capacity teaching. So, and then with these three, if anyone wanted to achieve nirvana, or anyone wanted to achieve enlightenment, without wisdom, there's no way someone can achieve. Either it's nirvana for one's own self, or enlightenment, okay, great nirvana for the sake of all sentient being. Without wisdom, there's no way anyone can achieve. Shivanyeva Nepata means there's no other door than wisdom. So therefore, these three becomes the most important aspects of Buddha's teaching. Okay? Three principal aspects of teaching. Is it? Okay? Very slowly we move. Don't ask many questions. Some are showing face that they like to ask questions. The path, the conquerors, the path praised by the conqueror's children. Conqueror's children is quite funny explanation, funny translation. I think maybe there's no other translation they can translate, you see. What he says is, this is the conqueror's children. Gyal is Buddha. Gyalwa is Buddha. Se is actually Se is we use this as like a prince or a son. Now they use this as a children because it has to cover all, male and female. So they use children. If they use son, then I think there will be some fightings usually. So therefore use children. And say we can include we can include both male and female. But direct translation can be like a son, you see, then it will be not good. So it's just true. Of course, this translation has been changed quite a lot since what I read. Now this is, I think, one of the latest translation by Geshe Dorji Damdina, revised by Geshe Dorji Damdina. Revised, okay. And I think revised by him is really good, very, very good. Because he speaks very good English and he studied all aspects of Buddha's teaching very thoroughly. Major texts like say Panchaparamita, Madhyamika, Paramanavartikarika, Abhidharmakosh, Vinaya. All these 5 major texts, really he studied thoroughly. Therefore, if he revised means really is a really revised. Because he takes all the essence really in English as much as like it goes inside, you see. So therefore, conqueror's children, once conqueror was pregnant. So, otherwise, how can he have children? You see? The job. The entrance for those who desire liberation. This liberation can be, Tarpa is liberation, or sometimes it's like only nirvana possible. But then Tarpa has nirvana and mahanirvana, the big nirvana, which is enlightenment. So liberation is nirvana as well as Buddha's state of achievement, okay, nirvana. Conqueror's children and entrance for those who desire, who wish to achieve nirvana or great nirvana, which is Buddhahood, okay, liberation. Maybe a little bit of like to make this little clear, okay. If someone wanted to achieve simply a nirvana, okay, nirvana, what do that person has to practice? Renunciation and wisdom. Okay, just practice renunciation and the wisdom. Okay, combine together, this practice together, and the result will be nirvana for one's own self. Because renunciation is a determination to achieve nirvana for the sake of one's own self, you see. The renunciation, the definition of renunciation is a determination to achieve or to be free from samsara okay, to be free from samsara or to be free from destructive emotion and the sources of the samsara, whatever you say. Mainly for the use for yourself. Okay. If it's for the sake of other sentient being, then it becomes automatically, it becomes a bodhicitta or something like that. Okay. So, to achieve enlightenment, and then this wisdom is necessary, but bodhicitta is very important. Okay. Without bodhicitta, there's no way. Even you practice renunciation and wisdom for eons, you will never achieve enlightenment. Why? Because enlightenment is meant for every sentient being. So then motivation and the collection of good karma has to be for the sake of all sentient beings. And that is possible only if we have bodhicitta. Okay, bodhicitta. So if someone cultivate bodhicitta and practice bodhicitta with wisdom, and these two practice can lead or achieve to reach to enlightenment. Okay. So this is a whole teachings of Mahayana tradition, and renunciation and wisdom is a teaching of, you can say, Hinayana tradition. Okay. Now I don't explain much more. So I think, of course, according to Lamrim teaching, we say lesser capacity teaching and middle capacity teaching. These two practice. Renunciation and wisdom, if you practice, this includes the lesser and the middle capacity teaching, according to Lamrim teaching or Lamrim path to enlightenment by Atisha. And then bodhicitta and wisdom, this takes all aspects of the teaching of Mahayana tradition, which is all these 6 perfections and all these things, okay? Yeah. To achieve enlightenment for the sake of all sentient beings. Is there anything? Yes? Yeah. Compassion. Once if we have a practice of renunciation, renunciation is what? Determination to achieve nirvana, or determination to be free from samsara and source of samsara, but say one's own self. Okay? By having this mind, if we transfer this to every sentient being, and then we build that determination to make every sentient being free from suffering and source of suffering, or samsara or sources of the samsara, and that is compassion. Yeah. So that is part and parcel of the practice of bodhicitta. You know, if you have to cultivate bodhicitta, either you go through the practice of 7 cause and effect, where compassion is included. Okay. Without this 7 cause and effect, you cannot cultivate bodhicitta. And then also, if you say equalizing, exchanging, also the compassion is included. And then only you can achieve bodhicitta. So therefore, of course, my main question, I used to ask this, okay. Of course, I couldn't ask to the teacher from where I received this teaching. I couldn't ask because he's so tough, and he's so like structured, and there's no gap, no interval. He started the teaching exactly 9 o'clock, as soon as he finished his breakfast. And then he talked, no break, okay. Exactly 12 o'clock he finished. And then he designed my schedule for day. You go to this restaurant, you take thukpa, and then you go to that monastery where there's a commentary of a 3 principal aspect of teaching by Chamchi Phawang Khaba, and you read this, okay, and then they will serve you tea, and so that this monastery will serve you tea. So it was a lot of book. So it went on, starting from 9 till 9 evening, busy. He's structured in this way. And he does in this way. So devoted, so hardworking. If there's someone who's coming, getting blessing from him, fast, go, like this, you see. And there's someone says, I problem, please speak to my, okay, go, like this. Because he doesn't see so much meaning in this, you see. Because blessing is what? Blessing is what? Blessing, if teacher gives a teaching, and then slowly, for example, like teacher gives a teaching on compassion. By giving teaching on compassion, and the student started, oh, this is so good, I really wanted to do this, then that is blessing. That is the blessing, you see. Not the thread, not the bread, not the hand, no. This is just symbol, okay, these are just symbol, okay, symbol. But actual blessing is chin-lap. I think I explained some years ago, I explained this. In Tibetan we say chin-lap. Chin is like all the good qualities of the teacher, chin. Lap means to mix. If the teacher is very compassionate, and then that teacher gives teaching about compassion, and then his disciple also become more compassion. And then at the time, teacher's way of thinking compassion and student way of thinking compassion, same, mixed. You see, mixed. And that is the blessing. Chin lap. Lap is mixed. Chin is all the good quality of teacher. So the blessing is not a Tibetan term, it is an English term, but it is derived from some other faith, you see. So now this is the only words you have, and no English has, so therefore they use, but meaning has to be like this. Yeah. If the teacher are really capable of changing the mentality and all the body, speech and mind, and then teachers really giving blessing to the student, okay? And if the teacher gives teaching all the time and the student become more funny, and there's no blessing. This entrance for the liberation, okay, it's mainly speaking about the wisdom, okay? Yeah. 제가 수업은 이제 담반은 민감다. 근데 탄대는 중앙 중앙에 지단유신 딱이 시작하죠. As well as I'm able to explain is in the Tibetan is the last line. In the last line, 지단유신 딱이 시작하죠. Yeah. Last line. 간다 스베드로 하자시. 간다 스베드로. It's coming like mixed because of English structure. Yeah. So now I read the second line. Listen with a clear mind. How many obstacles? You know. Mind has 3 obstacles, isn't it? Huh? Buddha, he said, lekpar rab tu nyo la yila sunshi tang se. Lekpar nyo, lekpar nyo, rab tu nyo, yila sun. 3 things, okay. Here he says clear mind. Listen with a clear mind, you fortunate ones. Okay?